Hello, this is Winston Cunningham. It's August 4th, 2025. Stay there till you go there. When Jesus was instructing his disciples how to approach using what they had been taught and what they're in the process of learning, I think basically Jesus just provided the discipline, like I got at School of Metaphysics, in order to learn how to pay attention. And this is part of what stay there till you go there means. Because Jesus was instructing his disciples as they go about teaching and helping people, that when they've come across somebody who is not receptive, and we do that a lot, said to shake the dust off your feet and go your way. And when you run across somebody that is receptive to what you're saying, he says, stay there till you go there. And I've put a lot of attention over the last 40 years on these words. And all of the words that Jesus said kind of come together in a nutshell. But a lot of it is just learning how to pay attention, and the key word being pay, and I talked about that earlier. But today the focus is on stay there till you go there. And just yesterday morning, I saw some information. I got up with a dream, interpreted the dream, and followed all the steps. And what was clear to me was something that I had seen many, many times, but this added a critical piece to the puzzle. And that's the meaning of stay there till you go there. If you don't quite fully understand something, then you need more experience. And with each experience, you can add just a little bit. But if you think you got it all already, then that's it. That's as far as you go, because you've made the choice to cease listening. And listening within is the biggest thing. Because listening within develops that relationship between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and then, therefore, with that practice, all you need to do is be still and begin to know the inner self. And over the last 40 years, I've developed a very good relationship with my own soul. It is the soul that guides me. And listen to my talk on the question. When I've properly stated the question clearly, with the intention to listen for the answer from within. Of course, my soul is the one that sets up the experiences or connects me with the experiences that I need in order to understand something, even a dream. Because a dream is just your soul talking to you through the language of mind, through the picture language. It won't be words, it'll be pictures. And so I got something with greater clarity than I've ever had before. Now, whether that's all there is, I don't know. But the more I get into this, the more I am open to seeing what I need to see. And this is another talk, but I'll just mention it here, that I've come to understand that for this lifetime, I need to stay focused on where I am, not where other people are ahead of me or where other people are behind me. I need to focus on where I am, and through the experience, I will get those fine points. And that's my job this lifetime. I'm not competing with anybody. I don't want anybody competing with me, because each person is on their own trajectory toward getting the same thing that I am. but we're all in a different place. So it's pointless to compare one with another or one thing with another. This is why I did the talk on a yell butt bat, because about 8 times out of 10 when talking to somebody, I'll hear, when I state a truth, they'll say, yeah, but what about this? Yeah, but what about that? They're not listening yet. So the first job, and this is what Jesus was teaching, that stay there till you go there, means paying attention. Paying attention to what I need to hear, not what everyone else needs to hear. That's up to everyone else. I've got my attention on what I need to hear. What I need to hear. And then in another place, I think Jesus said this too, be still and know that I am God. It is I am, which is the light that God created, that is the core part of us and Him too. Everyone, including the ascended masters, started with the same thing I did, and the same thing you did. We all got everything God had to offer, whoever we think God is or whatever we think God is. We got it all in the beginning. It's embedded in our spiritual DNA, just like the physical DNA. The physical the physical DNA is related to the body that I chose to use this time, which came with a lot of experiences that I needed. So the choice was not random. The choice was specific, and I made the choice while I was existing as a soul. Now this soul that is me has a physical body. And at first, we're cut off from everything we remember we known from before, all of the knowledge that's stored, and that's by design, because if we got to come to this in stages, and we come to it when we are ready. And one of my talks recently was I wasn't ready. So when I am ready to hear something, then I will hear it. If I don't want to hear it, it don't matter how many times it comes at me. I won't see it, I won't hear it, I won't smell it, I won't feel it, I won't taste it, I won't smell it, all of that. So, a lot of the exercises at School of Metaphysics are geared toward one thing, is how to pay attention. Because your attention is the only muscle in the mind. And as you exercise it, it gets stronger. You get stronger. But if you say, woe is me, I can't help it, or worse than that, you say, well, God did this and God didn't do that, you're avoiding your own responsibility. Responsibility, the ability to respond. Responding with your abilities, responding to your abilities, and developing more ability to respond. That's the whole shooting match here. And you can spend as long as you want to saying, well, that ain't me. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Well, I'm here to tell you. If it gets your attention, it has something to do with you. So if something gets your attention, pay attention on figuring out why and how to use that impetus, which the pain is just the impetus to learn, that's all, and a refusal to learn is to garner more pain. If you like pain, open the door and you'll have all you want. But pain is caused through ignorance, and ignorance is the process of ignoring, like the ostrich with his head in the sand, got everything blocked out. Or having head up rectum, which you're drowned everything out with your BS before science. Be still and know, not believe, be still and know that I am is God. I am is the living God. It's the part of God that is you. And that's the one you need to understand first. How can you even fathom the idea of who or what God is without doing that first? I don't see it. Knowing this one has to come first, and that's what my job is. And my job is not to race to the top or even give attention to the bottom. Or as the song says, reaching for the bottom. And most people, a lot of people are reaching for the bottom without knowing that, but they think they're at the top and they're actually at the bottom. They've not begun yet. So I do these talks so if someone hears what I am saying, it's because they need to hear it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be hearing it. If it becomes part of your experience, then it has something to do with you. Jesus represents the part of each of us that knows. He brought the knowing quality into the picture, which it had up until the time that Jesus had this lifetime that we all read about and know about. Up until that time, everything was predicated upon belief. But he brought into the picture, there's more. There's more. Believing is necessary, but it is not enough. You have to know, and you know only through your experience. And Jesus was talking about experience when he said, if this person is not receptive, shake the dust off your feet and go on. Don't hang up on that. Don't get hung up on that. When you find someone that is receptive, stay there till you go there, because that's where the understanding is built. And he's talking about not only people, he's talking about experiences. When you're having an experience that is enlightening, that sheds more light, and you have more awareness because of it, he said, stay with it until you understand it. He didn't say stay with it 5 minutes or 5 years. Didn't put a time limit on it. That's personal. That's individual. And another phrase comes to mind when I say that is because the first will be last and the last will be first. In other words, it doesn't matter whether it takes you 5 minutes or 5 years or 5 lifetimes to understand something this small. It doesn't matter who gets there first or who gets there last. It only matters that you do it. And we've all got to do it. Eventually. We don't have to do it today. We can put it off. And of course, there's all kinds of stories of what it's like to put things off. It does have a building effect when you put things off. Because I've done some procrastinating in my time. And I'm working to get over that. But the experience of procrastination will be there until I understand how to turn that into forward motion. I'm learning. But and sometimes I think I've done pretty good, and then other times I think, well, I haven't done much at all. That's because there's so much to do. But if we fool ourselves into thinking these few things are all that's important, then that's where we are. And everyone is I heard an interesting talk, videos. Since I've hooked up on the YouTube thing, I'm hearing more of the YouTube talks, and I've run across some talks lately, some of them by Edgar Cayce, who had some interesting, or this was about Edgar Cayce and the readings he did. And of course, I've read a few Cayce books before I even got to the School of Metaphysics. In fact, I remember asking Jerry Rothermel, who started the School of Metaphysics, if when I attended the first reading session that he was conducting, and I said, "Did you learn what you know about this from Edgar Cayce?" And he said, "No, I came to it on my own, but he said there happened to be some similarities." And now I think the School of Metaphysics has a larger collection of these type of readings than anyone else in the world, as far as I know. So check it out. There's some books you can read on the subject, and there's even I was fascinated by Dan and Barbara Crandon did some readings on the history of the formation of this planet, and they called it, they did a lot of readings from the Akashic Record and got a lot of interesting information that it was hard for me to know what to do with, and I'm still working with a lot of it, but I know both of these people, and I know that they're not playing. So I take them for their word, because their word is good. I know that, because I've been around both of them. And one thing I know is their word is good. So, but anyway, the book that has all of the information that they gleaned from the readings is called Remembering Atlantis, and the subtitle is History of the World, Volume 1. And as much as I've stretched myself going through the School of Metaphysics and a lot of experiences since then, I'm still stretching. But when I read this book, it blew me away. Because there were some things pointed out that are amazing, but necessary and critical. So when I'm seeing when you're in the process of understanding something, you'll see it coming from different directions. As my teacher pointed out early on when I was studying at the School of Metaphysics, she said, once you recognize a truth, then this is the truth. Then you come at it from as many different directions as possible and see if it still holds up. And this reminds me of a phrase that Jesus said, another phrase. He had a lot of good stuff, where two or more are gathered together in my name, there I will be also. I represents awareness. My name means to identify something. So, where two or more are gathered together, at first we think he's talking about people. And that's the way religions have it. If three of us are together, we're in good company. Yes, it means that. But I think more important, it's talking about your own experience with truth. When you see truth, it feels solid. When you see that truth in another experience, by the time you get to the second and third experience, it begins to get stronger. It begins to solidify. And this is how the truth will set you free. Freedom doesn't come in just a glimpse. It comes from repeated truth, staying there till you go there. Stay there till you go there. Keep your attention on seeing more, and you will see more. That's the whole deal. Anyway, I'm Winston Cunningham. Thank you.